So any time machine worth its salt has to be able to take us into the future. So LCS is very capable of doing that. We get to define how that future potentially looks in terms of development trends, where things are we think are going to happen, or just the extrapolation of historic trends, so we can examine that. I'll just give you a couple of very simple examples using the same 3 examples we used for the backcast. So here we have footprint, edge, minor roads, and I'm just going to extend the slider here from 2010 out to 2050. Execute the model, ask it to retrieve that data for me. Okay, it's done that. I'll move this back. And now we can look at the next 50 years that I've asked it for to see how this minor road edge density is going to change over time. If you're cheating and looking at the graph over here, you can see what's going to happen. So as we move forward, we can see significant changes about to happen. So again, we can now cast back and look at a century and a half of development and how minor roads have changed in this particular watershed and where we expect them to go under a business as usual scenario. In this case, we forecasted all the future forest harvesting that's been committed to and planned for by the British Columbia government under the tenures that it administers. We know how many meters of road are needed in order to harvest a cubic meter of wood from this area using the various harvesting systems that they use. And so forecasting that forward, we can see the increase in edge density into the future under a base case or business as usual scenario. Again, remember, I can export all of this data out and analyze it in other analysis tools. So super handy. So there's the forecast on linear edge. Let's see what that means for urban development. So we're 2010 here now, and going to forecast ahead 50 years. We can see the continuing growth and expansion of these areas. So that's being driven in this case by population growth and an assumption that existing urban density levels are going to remain consistent into the future. So you can see, for example, all along here that there's quite a bit of growth. This is a major transportation corridor, it's the Trans-Canada Highway, and so a lot of people are building along that corridor. And then looking at our example for forest age, so I've expanded the time frame to just say, well, let's look at just 1950. Let's see, 1950, since we started fire suppression, I want to see how things have changed and how that's likely to be going ahead in the future. So I'm just going to make that request to the model. Just pulled up that information. You can see here, remember I created this band, that's what we saw in the backcast right there. And so we can see into the future that the age of the forest is increasing under the assumptions that we will continue to be able to be successful suppressing wildfire at about a 92% rate. So, and then what does that look like spatially on the landscape? Well, we can see that, and you can see that there are changes. There are places that are burning, fires are happening, but overall we see that the forest is aging.